Good morning, everybody. Here's your current events for today, Monday, April 20th, 2020. You can see on the slide the number of COVID-19 cases in the world, the United States, and Michigan as of this morning. In Kalamazoo County, there has been 166 confirmed cases with 9 deaths. Over the weekend, there were more protests over the shelter-in-place orders, like the Operation Gridlock protests that occurred last Wednesday at the Michigan Capitol. Protesters are demanding that governors lessen the restrictions and reopen the economy. Cases in Michigan are beginning to slow, and Governor Whitmer over the weekend said she is willing to start reopening Michigan. However, she and health experts are calling for more testing in order to prevent a resurgence in infections. The country's governors are looking towards the federal government to provide more tests as well. President Trump believes it should be up to the governors to secure these tests. According to recent released public opinion polls, over 60% of the responders are concerned about a resurgence of the virus if the country is reopened too soon. The polling numbers show that both self-identified Democrats and Republicans have the same level of concern. 16 Canadians were killed Saturday in a 12-hour rampage by a single shooter in a small town in Nova Scotia. Authorities have identified the alleged gunman as a 51-year-old male who was shot and killed by the police. This is the worst single mass shooting event in Canadian history. Police have as of yet to release a motive for the gunman's actions. The gunman was said to have been dressed as a police officer and had painted his vehicle to appear as a police cruiser. Congress appears to be ready to add $300 to $350 billion to the Paycheck Protection Program after the program ran out of money last week. Republicans and Democrats disagreed with the scope of the program, with Republicans only wanting to make funding available for small businesses, while the Democrats wanted to extend funding to struggling hospitals and to increase money for testing. Republicans felt that those add-ons should be dealt separately. After President Trump signaled his support for additional funding beyond small businesses, the two sides have appeared to come to an agreement. Today's political cartoon shows the precarious position of small business owners in the United States. The storm of the pandemic has many business owners holding on to a thread and at the same time unable to get access to small business loans because money ran out of the program. It has been reported one of the reasons for the money to have run out is that multi-million-dollar loans went out to businesses that many would not think of as small. Two such businesses mentioned in the news are national franchised Shake Shack and Potbelly sandwich shops. So what happened on this day in history on April 20th? Well, in 1898, President William McKinley asked Congress for a declaration of war after bowing to pressure from pro-war politicians and newspapers. The sinking of the USS Maine on February 17th caused President McKinley to abandon any hopes of the United States remaining neutral in the Cuban-Spanish conflict. And if you remember from history too, the sinking of the Maine was blamed upon the Spanish, but in reality what happened is ammunition exploded inside the ship, causing the ship to sink. In 1999, two teen gunmen killed 13 people during an attack at Columbine High School in Littleton, Colorado, and wounded another 23. At the time, the school shooting was one of the worst incidents in the United States, only to be surpassed by the shooting at Virginia Tech. 10 years ago, in 2010, the Deepwater Horizon drilling rig in the Gulf of Mexico exploded, triggering the largest offshore oil spill in the history of the United States. 11 workers on the rig were killed in the explosions. It took 3 months to cap the spill, and by that time it is estimated that 4.9 million barrels, or 206 million gallons of oil, had spilled into the Gulf. Well, that's our current events for today, April 20th, 2020. This is Mr. Ruska signing off from the home office. Until tomorrow, remember to keep calm and keep on reading. We'll see you tomorrow.